What's going on, Vikings fans? Welcome in the Vikings Now by Chat Sports. My name is Patrick Siepman, and coming up on today's show, the Vikings just got some great news from the NFL. We'll share with you guys that information at the start of today's show. And then Kevin O'Connell, he hopped on the Up and Adams show, broke it down with Kay Adams, talked a little J.J. McCarthy, talked a little Donovan Jackson. So we'll share with you guys a couple of quotes, and then our guy, the Gangster, Andrew Van Ginkel, just signed an extension with the Minnesota Vikings. So what does that mean for Dallas Turner? People are freaking out about it. We'll dive into that all on today's show. But before we do so, if you guys could help us break our likes record on today's show. So the most likes we have ever gotten on an individual video was 997. So the goal for today is going to be 1,000 likes. If you guys have not already, go down there, smash that thumbs up icon. And if you see we're at like maybe 780 likes, 900 likes, we're right at that goal. Please help us out here and hit that thumbs up button. All right, so what's the great news the Vikings are getting from the NFL? Well, the Vikings are expected to get a 3rd and 5th round comp pick in the 2026 NFL draft. Now, we know Kwesi has been very aware of this. He's talked about it very openly that he didn't want the Vikings to sign any more free agents just to ensure themselves of at least getting 2 comp picks. Now, it was being reported the Vikings could get 3, but after the latest projections, they're only supposed to get 2 here. So this is how the Vikings 2026 draft capital should look. This, obviously could change with some conditions on especially some 6th and 7th rounders, but as it stands right now, they have their 1st round pick, they have their 2nd round pick, they will have 2 thirds, 2 fifths, a 6th, and a 7th. So the Vikings have draft capital for next season. I mean, it's going to feel a whole lot better covering the NFL draft instead of just discussing 4 picks there. But when I'm looking at the whole Vikings 2026 draft capital, the thing that pops into my head is this year's upcoming trade deadline. Because let's just say the Vikings come out the gates hot, very similar to last year. Let's just say they're 5-2 around that mark when the trade deadline rolls around. I wouldn't be shocked if the Vikings get aggressive at this year's trade deadline where, as we know, like some teams who we think are going to be good will be bad. Some teams who we think are going to be bad will be good. It's just the nature of the NFL. And with that action, it will cause a reaction of teams at the deadline potentially being sellers, where there could be a defensive lineman. There could be a cornerback out there on the market that we, aren't even considering his name right now. But there are a couple of guys that we know are on the trade block. And the number one guy, Jalen Ramsey. I think this would be a before the season trade, as I fully expect him to be dealt by the Dolphins before the season gets underway. They have made it super, super clear that they're going to try to move off him. So maybe the Vikings give up a 2026, 5th round pick. Maybe they just give up one of their thirds, knowing they're going to get a 3rd round comp pick selection for losing some guys on free agency. But if it's Jalen Ramsey before the season, you want to shore up that secondary, I'd be all in. Give up a 3rd round pick. I know he's an older corner, but he can still play some damn good football on him next to Byron Murphy, helping out Mekhi Blackman, Isaiah Rodgers, Jeff Okudah, Dwight McGlothern. I think that'll be a damn good 6-man cornerback rotation. So watch out for Jalen Ramsey. But what about this guy right here? Adam Thielen returning to the Vikes. So the Carolina Panthers at pick number 8 this past draft took Ted McMillan, wide receiver, and they already pair him up with Xavier Legette, and maybe they don't really have a need for Thielen, so maybe the Vikings could potentially toss like a 6th, 7th round pick to bring Thielen back home. Now, do I think the Vikings have a need at the wide receiver position? Absolutely not. I mean, you just spent a 3rd round pick on Ty Felton. I think a Thielen trade is damn near dead, but maybe the Vikes are saying, you know what, if Naylor, Rondell Moore, Ty Felton, maybe they see these guys in training camp, but they're not loving what they see at the wide receiver 3 spot, and they just want to add another body in there. Maybe Thielen's a guy that you could just trade, late 6th or 7th round pick for him. But I'll ask you guys this. I know the receiver position is stacked, but maybe for the vibes, maybe just get a little more depth at that spot. Would you trade for Adam Thielen? You guys let me know down below. Give me a T for trade. Give me a P for pass. If you would bring back Adam Thielen and have him rock the purple and gold one more time. You guys let me know your thoughts down below in the comments section. All right, we're going to dive into what Kevin O'Connell had to say on the Kay Adams show earlier today. He was talking Donovan Jackson. He was talking J.J. McCarthy, and he had some pretty interesting stuff to say. But first off here, on the 1st round pick for the Minnesota Vikings, Donovan Jackson, he says this: we really felt good about honing in on certain types of players that fit with what we want. Smart, tough guys that will be great teammates. Donovan, to me, jumped out through the process. And, I think Donovan Jackson was the missing piece of this offense. if you were looking at, what position group specifically offensively was the weakest spot, it was left guard by a wide margin because there really wasn't any other weak positions on the offense. You got the tight ends, you got the wide receivers, you got the running backs, you got your franchise QB and J.J. McCarthy. And if you're just looking where could the Vikings be better, it would be that left guard spot. That's why he was the missing piece here. I mean, you plug him in, I think he'll be the day one, week one starter for the Minnesota Vikings. Apparently, actually, Brian O'Neill said that he and his wife already took out Donovan Jackson and his girlfriend to dinner. So he's already kind of getting connected with the Vikings offensive line. And plus, if you're a first-round pick and you're a guy like Donovan Jackson and your first offensive line, you get to play next to Ryan Kelly, Christian Darrisaw. I mean, what better teammates do I play next to you? And it's funny, as I'm looking at the Vikings offense right now, what's the weakest position? It's probably center. Like, it's probably Ryan Kelly, older in age, dealt with some injuries the past couple of years, but still pretty solid. But that's probably the weakest position of group offensively for the Minnesota Vikings, just that center spot. And, I got full faith in Ryan Kelly getting it done for next season. But Kevin O'Connell was asked about J.J. McCarthy, and Kay Adams kind of joked about it. It was like, hey, Kevin, why haven't we named J.J. the starting quarterback just yet? This is what KOC was kind of joking around when he answered this. He was like, we can't even line up defensive players from our own team against him yet. So we don't really have a need to have anything more than just development time, learning time, teaching phase for our team. Trust me, JJ is going to get all of the prerequisite work for us to come out of the spring and feel great where he's at heading into camp. So KOC didn't really answer the question here, but I love the thought process from Kevin O'Connell. And, he's going to make J.J. McCarthy go out there and earn it. And, I would be stunned if J.J.'s not the starting quarterback week one. But they're going to have him go throughout this whole process, learn the system, see him out there on the field, and then we will get that official announcement where it's like, bam, J.J. McCarthy's the starting quarterback week one. But Kevin O'Connell, not giving him that nod just yet. He's going to have him go earn it. And I love that process. And J.J. was actually asked about starting at his press conference yesterday, saying this. Somebody asked him, hey, are you ready to start? He goes, I know I'm ready to start because of all the work I put in and just the confidence in my abilities and just be able to do my job and simplify things to the best of my ability every single day. Take it one day at a time. I have a tremendous coaching staff and a great group of guys around me that I can lean on, and they can lean on me. And you guys should have just heard like the confidence that he had when he was talking about, his game heading in the next season. Like, he knows he put in the work. He knows he has the God-given ability to go out there and prove everybody wrong this season. So go out there and prove them all wrong this year. Number 9, everybody's doubting you. When people are talking about, oh, why could the Vikings be a regression team? It's not about the roster. It's not about the coaching staff. It's about you. Everybody thinks this team will be worse next season because we got rid of Sam Darnold. Remember what we thought of Sam Darnold before last season. I think the system made him a whole lot better, and I still think Darnold will be somewhat successful in Seattle. But this upcoming year, number 9, J.J. McCarthy, go prove them all wrong. And Kevin O'Connell, oh, you guys are going to love this. Kevin O'Connell talked about Harrison Smith coming back and about the dancing rituals with like Cam Bynum, obviously him leaving. Like, could Harry step up and be the dance partner for Josh Metellus? This is what he had to say. That was one of the guarantees I had to give Harrison Smith to make sure he came back was you're not going to be required to fill in, that you're not going to have to be like a Batman or Robin in the celebration dances. I think I'm more likely to run out and participate with Josh Metellus before Harrison Smith. And then Kay Adams joked about it, said, oh yeah, Harrison Smith hates the gritty. I love that. I mean, that is the most Harrison Smith thing I have ever seen, where Harry, he's too old school. He's like, man, I'm just here to play football. I don't give two damns about these touchdown celebrations. So I thought that was pretty cool that Harry is, he's all about business. He's all about football. He's not going to be the dance partner for Josh Metellus this season. Now, could you imagine how electric it would be if the Vikings did like a dance circle and it was like Harrison Smith in the middle, forcing him to do one? Josh Metellus, take that idea from me. That'll be electric week 1 of the season. But Harrison Smith is back, one of the best Vikings players in NFL history. So let's show him some love on today's show. Type those 22s down below in the comments section. The fact that he's still doing it at the age he is, how much mileage he has on those legs, and he's still one of the better players on this team. Show him some love. Type those 22s down below. Now we'll break down the Andrew Van Ginkel extension here in a second. But first off, if you guys want to get a J.J. McCarthy jersey today, head to chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Click that link. It's in the comment section and description of today's show. But get those J.J. McCarthy jerseys today. They're going to be a hot jersey at U.S. Bank Stadium this year. So if you guys want to rock one, rock the number 9 jersey. Hit that link, chatsports.com/Vikings jersey. Got that link in the comment section and description of today's show. All right, so Andrew Van Ginkel got paid yesterday, and he fully deserved this. Schefter tweeting this out. A raise in Minnesota. Vikings reach agreement today on a 1-year, $23 million extension that includes $22.4 million guaranteed for linebacker Andrew Van Ginkel. Shout out to Drew Rosenhaus for getting that done. And, I have seen so many people freaking out about this on Twitter, and it's honestly driving me up a wall right now. People think this has to do with Dallas Turner. This has nothing to do with Dallas Turner. I really want to make that point clear. Like, this isn't something where, the Vikings are seeing Turner working out. They threw on his tape from last season. They're like, oh, man, he cannot play for this team. We got to go extend Van Ginkel one more year. No, this was about Van Ginkel's play. This had nothing to do with Dallas Turner. And Gink deserved this. Guys, he signed a 2-year, $20 million deal last offseason. He was a second-team All-Pro. He deserved to get this pay bump. And honestly, credit to the Vikings organization for giving him that. Because that contract he signed last offseason, it was a joke. He deserves to be getting paid a whole lot more than that. Because this guy, 2 pick-sixes, 11.5 sacks this past year, 18 TFLs, 6 PBUs. He was a monster out there on the football field. And it just kind of grinds my gears where people are like, oh, this has something to do with Dallas Turner. Dallas Turner isn't, up to speed with NFL level just yet. And even if he was, the man's 22 years old. Dallas Turner would be just fine. I don't think the Gink extension has anything to do with that. And, plus this, Van Ginkel is literally Brian Flores' guy. Like, if I had to pick any player in the whole NFL where if I asked Brian Flores, hey, you got to have one guy on your defense, I'm sure he'd probably say Myles Garrett, TJ Watt, one of these guys. But besides the true superstar defenders in the league, he would pick Andrew Van Ginkel. His versatility is incredible. I mean, his pick sixes this past season, him lined up on the line, he bails out last second. He's able to intercept the football. That is one-of-a-kind stuff. The fact that Van Ginkel has a Andrew Van Ginkel play in terms of a defensive lineman jumping a screen, taking it back to a house, speaks to how special he is. And just that, he is a Flores guy. So I think this was more about Flores wanting to keep Van Ginkel in this organization one more year. I don't think this is anything at all to do with Dallas Turner. But let's show some love to one of the most underrated edge rushers in the National Football League, Andrew Van Ginkel. Shout out to AVG for getting paid. Type those 43s down below in the comments section. Type his jersey number. Show the man from Minnesota some love. Type his jersey number down below. Now, if you guys want more Vikings content on your Twitter X timeline, hit me up over there. That's a handle, @PatSieps. See you guys next time. As always, Skol Vikes.